Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel, I hope. Everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette, Charles Ling shares best friend in mansion. Golden Bachelorette fan favorite Charles Ling became a national treasure very quickly when he appeared on Joan Vasso's season of the show. Fans loved watching him explore the mansion and his excitement over the little things. It's hard to imagine that Charles could not be best friends with every person he meets. While he did make lifelong friendships with all the men on the show, he also shared who he was closest to in the mansion. Who was Charles' best friend? Keep reading to get the scoop and see what else he had to share. Charles Ling reveals his best friends. Golden Bachelorette fan favorite Charles Ling seems like he could never know an enemy. He is so kind and giving that anyone could find themselves in good company when he's around. Unfortunately, he didn't find love with Joan Vassos, but he did find a lot that he took with him from his experience on the show. Charles is grateful to have met Joan and is also thankful for the entire experience. It was hard losing his wife, and he actually bonded with some on the show because of that tragic experience. He found a great friend in Joan, but also found a few best friends in the group of men. Yahoo! Entertainment caught up with Charles and got the scoop on who those best friends are. Charles said that they are all great, but he was closest to Guy Gansard and Mark Anderson. He admitted that they all cried together and offered each other comfort and support. What did they cook? Charles Ling also shared that he and a few of the men cooked a lot during their time in the mansion. He and Mark especially loved to cook for the group and did so a lot. It was one thing they bonded over. As far as what they cooked, he revealed different things. However, one time he said he made about 10 different dishes in a matter of about 2 hours. He said he made vegetables, pork dumplings. I made several types of dumplings. When Charles Ling first stepped out of the limo and flashed that charming grin on the Golden Bachelorette, fans were immediately drawn to his down-to-earth aura and silver fox confidence. With a background in architecture, a passion for watercolor painting, and a quiet strength that seemed to anchor the chaos of the show, Charles became an early fan favorite. But no one could have predicted the twist that rocked the mansion this week. Charles isn't flying solo in this romantic journey. He's sharing it with his best friend. Yes, you read that right. For the first time in Golden history, a suitor has entered the mansion with more than just roses on the mind. He brought along a lifelong companion, George, his best friend of over 40 years. And the revelation is shaking up everything. A mansion divided. The moment Joan Vassos opened the door to greet the next arrival during Week 3's surprise second chance mixer, the mood shifted. There stood a tall, smiling gentleman with kind eyes and a voice that sounded familiar. Joan blinked. The other men gasped. Charles beamed. "Joan," he said with pride, "this is my best friend George. I wanted you to meet the person who knows me better than anyone." Cue the dramatic silence. The other contestants were speechless. Joan, caught off guard but gracious, welcomed George with open arms. "If he's your best friend," she said, "then he's someone I definitely want to get to know." Producers scrambled to adjust. Was George here to compete? To sabotage? To support? Turns out, it's none of the above. George had been invited by Charles, with production's full blessing, to spend time at the mansion off-camera for emotional support, but after Joan's warm welcome, he quickly became something more. A mentor, a counselor, and maybe even the show's secret weapon. The origin story. Brothers without blood. Charles and George met college in 1973, both architecture students with dreams bigger than their modest upbringings. Charles, the introvert who expressed himself through design, and George, the outgoing jazz pianist who knew how to light up a room. They balanced each other in ways that only lifelong friends can. When Charles lost his wife to cancer 12 years ago, it was George who moved in temporarily to help raise Charles' teenage son. When George went through a divorce he didn't see coming, Charles flew across the country to help him pack up his life. We've seen each other through every heartbreak and every celebration, Charles said during a confessional. Why would I take on a journey like this without him? George's unexpected role. It didn't take long for George to become the mansion's unofficial therapist. While the other men were sizing each other up and crafting one-liners for Joan, George was listening. He had a calming presence that invited honesty. Suddenly, guys like Pascal and Vincent, usually caught up in minor drama, were sitting with George under the olive trees, talking about love, loss, and late-in-life purpose. He's like the Yoda of romance, joked Ron, a former high school football coach. He's not even competing, but I'm learning more about myself than I did in 30 years of marriage. Even Joan was intrigued. On a solo date with Charles, she brought it up. I expected sparks between us. I didn't expect your best friend to spark a connection with everyone. Charles laughed. He's got that gift. He's always helped people see themselves clearly, including me. A confession over bourbon. In a heartwarming moment by the fire pit one evening, George and Joan shared a quiet conversation. The moonlit garden wrapped them in soft light as George revealed something he hadn't planned to share. I've seen Charles fall in love once before, he said, voice steady. It was quiet, gentle, real. If he's going to love again, Joan, I want to know it's with someone who sees him, not just the man who shows up on group dates. Joan nodded, visibly moved. I see him, she whispered. Every day, I see more. Tensions rise. But not everyone in the mansion was thrilled with Charles having a live-in advisor. By week 4, some of the other men began to whisper about the fairness of it all. George isn't here for the same reasons we are, muttered contestant Leo. But he's shaping the house, shaping opinions. Even Joan looks at Charles through George's filter now. Others felt overshadowed. It's like Charles has this built-in support system, another man admitted. Meanwhile, we're over here journaling and crying into hot tubs. Producers leaned into the tension. Was George an asset or an unfair advantage? A rose ceremony twist. During the week 5 rose ceremony, Joan shocked the mansion by pausing midway through her picks. Before I give out the next rose, she said, I want to say something about friendship. She turned toward Charles. Watching how you treat George, it tells me everything about how you'll treat someone you love. Loyalty like that isn't just rare, it's sacred. Then she handed him a rose. The room erupted in applause. George gave Charles a proud nod. Some men clapped. Others stewed. But one thing was clear. Joan wasn't just choosing a man. She was choosing a life that came with deep-rooted bonds. What's next for the duo? With hometowns looming, rumors are flying. Will Joan get to visit both Charles and George during the same visit? Will George help orchestrate the most heartfelt hometown of the season? Fans are already clamoring for ABC to give George his own Golden Best Friend spin-off, possibly a talk show where older men open up about love and loss. He's giving more wisdom in 5 minutes than some therapists do in an hour, one fan tweeted. As for Charles, he remains laser-focused on Joan, but grateful for every step. Most men leave their friends behind when they fall in love, he said in a teaser for next week's episode. I think the best love includes them. In a mansion full of roses, drama, and reinvented dreams, Charles Ling didn't just bring romance. He brought a reminder that the best relationships begin with the best friendships. And thanks to George, Joan may be falling for both the man Charles is and the world he's built around him.